What is up? What is up, YouTube? Daniel back here for another video for the channel. So, if you don't know me and you're new to the channel, I essentially help people with getting to the 10.0 self as fast as possible through their habits, being fitness, nutrition, mentality, and also relationships. If you want to connect with me, you'll have my Instagram in the description, and we can connect there. But essentially, for this topic, this is actually something that kind of inspired me with something I watched yesterday. So it was a movie about uh, Ferruccio Lamborghini. I think Ferruccio is his name. Who's obviously the owner of Lamborghini, and it's his story. So you can just watch it. I think it's released like 2 years ago, and essentially it just really put into perspective how important having something above yourself is. I mentioned this in the last video, but essentially I have an idea now of something that men can essentially strive to do. With this case, he essentially put the importance of his name living on, obviously Lamborghini, before anything. If you watch the movie, I don't want to spoil anything because it's actually a pretty good movie. And essentially, he basically sacrificed everything, including some loved ones, in order to get to where he wanted to go. And I mean, it's something that is really inspiring because, like I mentioned in the last video, purpose should be over anything. Purpose over profit, stuff like that. And essentially, if you are looking for something that you can aim that's above yourself, I believe, having your last name live on is something that's very noble and also something that's kind of been forgotten. If you look back, across, time, there was more importance on basically having a good reputation for your family. So, people would do things based on their name and obviously bring honor to their name. I think it's something that's still very prevalent in the Chinese culture. But nowadays, with Western culture, stuff like that, people kind of just live just for their first name. And I mean, if you do that, your name doesn't really live on. Everyone has your name. Like, it's very common. You're not just the only person with your name, unless it's a very specific name. But even then, like, it's a given name. The name, your last name, is something that was kind of bestowed upon you. And also your family as well is the first team that you've been given. Everything works in teams. Obviously, anything great that has to be achieved has to be done by a group of people. So if you look at this, basically you're able to you know bring the team that was given to you by God when you came into this world, which is your family, um, and that last name to new heights. So essentially, something that I've been thinking about, and it's really just changed my mentality on how I'm going to start attacking things. Is essentially like, it's, you think of it like making a deposit, um, into that name, if that makes sense. So everything good that you do for the world, throughout the day, you can think of it like, putting a deposit into my last name in order for it to grow. So I mean, if you don't have this kind of mentality, someone will eventually. If everyone in your family just kind of works for their first name and lets the family name kind of um, fall into the abyss, I mean, someone will eventually have to pick it up because, like I said, back in the day, it was very important to have honor brought to the family, and everything does work in families if you think about it, like Rockefeller, um, different families like that they use their name and obviously their knowledge to grow big empires. So this is something that you have to begin to establish. If you are a man, I think it's just thinking that's very forgotten, but something that will just help you greatly. That will just take the mind off yourself and just working for yourself. Like I said, in my instance, there's a lot of people named Daniel. I'm not the first person named Daniel, nor will I be the last person named Daniel. And I'm sure there's people that are being born um, over the next few hours that will be named Daniel, right? So it's a name that you can't really hold to yourself, but your last name you can. Some last names are similar, but I think you have the opportunity to really put your family, and that last name and leave a legacy with it. So it's something that you should begin to think about, especially as you're getting older, because, like I said, just working for yourself kind of goes in vain, and just your name will be forgotten, but your last name won't. So just a quick video I thought I'd share because, as a man, I'm looking for new ways to kind of think outside myself. And this is something that this movie really inspired me to, like, really think about, what I'm leaving behind, and obviously the the example, I'm leaving, or I guess the the I would say image I want to leave based on my last name. So this is something you can apply. This is me sharing just basically thoughts that I had after watching this movie and what you begin to do as a young man in order to like really think outside yourself. And this thinking will really just help you to have further long vision thinking. So every time you have a decision, you kind of think, how does this impact the image that will be looked at my family as opposed to just myself, and like just indulging in things that will benefit you. But if you really develop it, you can kind of go into the perspective of like, do I want this activity or thing I'm about to do being tied to my name, and it'll put honor into the equation and stuff like that, and that kind of just helps you with living nobly and for a good cause, which is obviously your legacy and name you've been given. So hope this does help you. This is mostly for young men. I believe some women can do it, but mostly just kind of for something to live for, but on yourself as a young man, as you're coming up and looking for ways to not stick out as opposed to just another person in the wheel just chasing money. I think like I said, purpose over profit is kind of something I'm looking to aim at, and you don't want to just be someone that was just remembered for chasing dollars. That gets very old and empty. And there's other things that are more important, like your purpose and essentially what you leave behind in terms of your name. So hope this video has helped you with changing your perspective a bit more, going back to olden days of living for that family and putting that above everything else. If you don't feel like you have obligation to your family, or maybe you don't like your family, the chosen family in this case, just do it for the next generation. Like I said, someone has to do it, someone not take it upon yourself to do it, and it'll help you just take your mentality off things that don't really matter. Like I said, things like money does matter, but putting money above other things does not really bring you that um, in the amounts that you want. So something that has to be above money is purpose and your legacy. So hope this video does help. Like and subscribe if you do enjoy. More videos coming. And like I said, you have information on Instagram. You can connect with me there. I'd be happy to answer any questions and help you. And you can also watch my life and habits that I adopt. So hope you have a good day and keep killing.